flood is gone. Generations rise again. Cities begin to grow. People gather in the nations, but unity does not always mean obedience. Humanity has one language, one voice, one ambition. And somewhere in the plains of Shinar, a tower begins to rise. And they said, let us build us a city in a tower.
Genesis 11:4.
Brick by brick they raised the stone, reaching upward toward the throne.
One voice spoke
with pride and flame, trying to carve a human name.
But heaven heard the rising cry, and thunder moved across the sky. The tower stood,
but words were torn,
and scattered tongues across the world were born. The plain stretched wide beneath the sun. A city grows in the distance. Thousands of workers move like ants across rising walls. Brick after brick, layer upon layer, a tower climbs into the sky. Leaders stand above the crowd, shouting commands. The people share the same language, the same plans, the same dream to build something so great that the world will never forget them. The tower becomes a symbol, a monument to human ambition. Let us make a name for ourselves. The words echo through the growing city. Not worship, not gratitude, pride, a desire to rise above the limits God placed on humanity. The tower climbs higher, clouds gather around its top. From the ground the structure seems unstoppable, but heaven is watching, and when heaven responds, it does not destroy the tower with fire. It does something far stranger.
Brick by brick they raise the stone, reaching upward toward the throne.
One voice spoke
with pride and flame, trying to carve a human name.
But heaven heard the rising cry, and thunder moved across the sky. The tower stood,
but words were
torn, and scattered tongues across the world were born. Genesis says the Lord came down to see the city, not because he needed to see it, but because humanity needed to understand something. The people that become united in pride, nothing they imagined would be impossible for them. But their unity was pointed in the wrong direction. Instead of honoring God, they were trying to replace him. So the Lord confused their language. One moment workers shouted instructions, the next moment their words turned into noise. Commands became confusion. Friends suddenly could not understand each other. The tower stopped rising, tools fell silent. Groups began separating, people scattered across the earth. Different languages, different nations, different cultures. The tower remained unfinished, a monument to human pride, and a reminder that heaven still rules the earth. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. Genesis 11:6.
So the Lord scattered them abroad.
Genesis 11:8.
The tower stopped,
the world spread.
From bricks in the sand to towers that rise, humanity reaching to conquer the skies. But pride is a ladder that breaks in the climb. When kingdoms forget who created all time, the builders were shouting their plans to the air, but heaven responded with languages there. From one single voice into thousands of sound, and nations were born as the people spread around. The tower still whispers through history's flame of empires that rise only chasing their name. But every great kingdom that challenges God will crumble to dust on the same ancient sun.
brick by brick they raise the stone, reaching upward toward the throne.
One voice spoke,
with pride and flame, trying to carve a human name.
but heaven heard the rising cry, and thunder moved across the sky. The tower stood,
But words were torn,
and scattered tongues across the world were born. The tower was not destroyed, it simply stopped growing. Sometimes judgment is not fire. Sometimes it is confusion.